Hey, what's up, y'all? Robert here, and in this video, I'm going to show you how I use ChatGPT to write me a Google Chrome extension, which is something that I've never done before. I'm one of those guys that could kind of hack things together. I could integrate my business tools together using like Zapier, and I know how to do some webhook stuff, a little bit of PHP, CSS, and whatnot, HTML. I know how to hack things together, and so I bring that up because if you're that type of person, then you need to be using ChatGPT. It's going to help you do so much that you were not able to do before. One of those frustrating times where you just give up on creating something. ChatGPT has solved those problems for me, and not only that, has also helped me create things that I've never even would have done, even started doing before, like creating a Chrome extension. It just seemed like too much work, and I was able to do it start to finish, never doing it before, using ChatGPT. And so if you're an expert at coding, then ChatGPT is going to help you out a lot as well. You'll get a lot from this training as well, and as an expert, you'll see a lot of other ways you could be using this tool. And then for beginners, if you're a beginner, you'll see how you could start from absolutely nothing, and just using the same strategy that I show in this training, you could just ask more questions and get more information, which will help you as a beginner as well. So it'll bridge that gap between beginner and intermediate, and then you'll get to intermediate, and then you could just, ChatGPT is just so powerful. It could teach you, it could train you all the way through. Ground up on any subject, really. So coding is where we're going to use it. And like I said, I made this app or this extension. It's called Table Logger. And basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to have tables here in ChatGPT that I could easily export with the click of a button. All right. So ChatGPT will put things into table format. And I always use that phrase. This is something I was doing for my little girl. But I probably said something, put it in table format, and separate it into day and night, make the columns left to the left, whatever. But basically my point is that I gave it details to write it into a table. It gave it to me as a table, but then I wanted to quickly be able to export this. And there are some other extensions out there, but I really wanted to build out my own for my own use cases. So the first step that I wanted to do was really to create the ability to click a button and download the table there really easily. So let me see, I have this table out. Let me just go ahead and pin it. And this is what the app does. I click on it, and it's called Table Logger. So I just run it. And boom, it shows up right here in the pop-up window. It shows the table that's there. And then also down here, if I open this up, you can see the table that's here as well. And I can just hit Control-Alt, copy it, and it's ready to go. Right. Now, I've actually taken that a little bit further. I actually made it to where you could download a CSV file. This was an HTML file, so I made it to where you could download a CSV file. And then I don't know, I had a few other additions in here, small things. And then ultimately what I wanted to do is I'm going to take it over to Notion. So what I want to happen is that I could choose a page on Notion, and I could choose different properties on Notion, and I could plug it in and have all of the data go right inside of there from these tables over here. And so that way it's all inside of Notion, and you could just flip through your Notion pages and have very organized data and that you could utilize in a lot of different ways. And also another reason why I wanted to do this is because when you could download these CSV files, or this data as a CSV file, you could take it over to Canva. So check out my other video on how to quickly make videos, a mass amount of videos using ChatGPT. That's the strategy that I teach, is creating tables, right? And so if you have a massive table in here, you want to be able to quickly and easily export it, right? And so you just click the button, export the CSV file, upload it over to Canva, and boom, you're done, right? Or copy and paste, however you want to do it. Right. So there was a heavy use case for me, a heavy need for me, and there were some others out there that did this, but they either cost, or they were clunky, or they did some other stuff that I didn't need. And I really had a vision of where I want to go with this. So anyways, that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to take you through this real quick now. I'm going to show you two different pages here. I think I have this one up here. Let me scroll all the way to the top. I'm going to grab this one and just scroll all the way to the top. You see a lot of code here, a lot of conversation going back and forth. And this one says, write me all the files. And then I have this one over here. And I actually gave up on this one. So this is why I wanted to make a video on this particular thing, because I never did this before. And I actually gave up with ChatGPT. I figured I'd try it out, and it wasn't able to, it's not going up. I was able to get it right the first time. And so ultimately I just gave up. And this is even a longer page. This one is way back here. And Like, I started off on this one, I said, what are the steps to creating a Chrome extension? Like, that is what I knew. I didn't know anything. I knew I wanted to create a Chrome extension, but I didn't even know what the steps were. And I could have Google searched that. There's a lot of other ways I could have tried to figure it out. But I just wanted to cut to the chase and say, hey, what are the steps to do it? Right? And these are the steps that it gave me. And I'll just tell you these. I'll read the main parts of it. Define your extension, set up your development environment, create your extension manifest file, write your extension code, test your extension, publish your extension, and maintain and update your extension. Now, we're not publishing or maintaining or updating because I'm keeping mine in-house. But you could do that. You want to go through those steps, and you could ask ChatGPT and start building out, when you start building your app out as well, you could ask these and get the same list and kind of walk through the conversation with ChatGPT on your own. But what I did from here is I decided what I really actually needed. I didn't need, and this is, again, my hacker mind, my halfway coding mind, knew kind of what I wanted to do, and I knew what I wanted with my app. I didn't really need a development environment because all it is just some documents. It's really just using a text file, which is little notepad files like this, just a regular notepad. And when I would save it, I would just hit save as, and choose whether it's a JSON file. I'll just do the all files right here, and then if it's like a JSON file or whatever type of file it is, this is a JavaScript, this was JSON, this is HTML. I would just do dot whatever and just save it as that file, right? So I didn't need any tools, I didn't need any environment, and I might show you that here in a minute, how we actually did that. But really, I just looked at these steps and said, okay, I just need to get a Chrome extension. I want to hack something together. It doesn't need to be some grand thing that I'm going to turn into $1 million business. I just want to get to something I could use, right? So this is what I got. Okay, once I got my dev environment set up, create your extension manifest file. I said, okay, help me create the manifest. What do you need now? Like, I didn't even know what it needed from me to create the manifest file. I had no clue what it even needed from me, and it says this is what it needed, and it went through all of this different information. This was actually wrong. It told me the current version is 2. We actually had to debug one thing, and it ended up being version 3. So sometimes it doesn't know, but it was able to debug that with me, right? And so it gave me that, and then I said, I didn't even know what to name the file. So I said, what should the file be named? And it told me, name it manifest.json. So that's what I did. What are the permissions? I don't even know what that meant. Like, it says it had to have some permissions. I was trying to figure out what it meant up here, and I didn't even know what it meant. And it kind of said, it gave me some example, permissions in Chrome extension specify this. And so I was like, okay, now I knew what it meant. Like, what permissions did it need to actually use this app? Well, for this one, because we were downloaded, we needed to be able to use the downloads. And so it kind of went through that and explained to me. I started approaching it this way, where I was asking questions. I was trying to solve the problems. I was trying to figure out everything on my own. And I think that this is why I needed to give up. I went in there just piece by piece, trying to solve the individual pieces and grow and kind of build the app from the ground up myself. I think that's what I tried to do, and I had to remove that from my head, because I wasted a lot of time going on here. And I'm not going to use this one to show you, because this was a bad example of me just really doing exactly that, trying to build the app myself, telling it what I needed based on what it told me I needed, right? And we kind of just went back and forth. Now, that seems to be the logical thing to do, and that's why I did it that route, right? But eventually I just gave up, because I never had a working extension. I just didn't get it to work. I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't figure out why, and it took me several hours to get to that point where I finally gave up. And then I thought about it a couple days later, and I started thinking about it from a development point of view. And I'm a SaaS owner. I run a software company, and I'm familiar with SaaS concepts. And I started thinking about it from a developer's point of view. And I said, okay, what I really need to do is define this from an architecture point of view. I need to tell ChatGPT what I want from the big scope, and then break down each one of those into smaller scopes, not into these individual, like, what's the permission? We don't need to deal with it at that micro level. We just need to deal with it at the use case level. Like, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. Just give me that. I don't need to know all of the details about permissions. I don't need to know any of that. That's just going to confuse me, and it's going to confuse ChatGPT, because I might take it one way, and then I start doing something. I'm like, oh, that didn't work, and it thinks it didn't work, but it's because I took it one way instead of just saying, hey, you do everything for me. Okay, now I showed you the wrong way. This is the wrong way where I really started to dive in. The only thing I would say to use here is this first thing. Like, I don't know how to start, so tell me where to start. Okay, and then the second thing you need to do is think about it from the big picture. this is what I did. I stepped back and I says, ultimately, this is what I want to do. It's very simple. Now, actually, before we read this, I'm going to click back over here. What I did was I stepped back and I says, okay, I want this Chrome extension and I want to be able to take this data from ChatGPT's tables, from the tables in this conversations, and I want to be able to pull that data over into whether it be a CSV file, whether it be a Notion doc, whether it be wherever. It doesn't matter if I send it to, it doesn't matter where it ends up. The first thing I needed to accomplish was get it out. I needed to make sure I could pull that data from the page, right? If I had a table over here on this page, I needed to make sure that I could pull that data from that page. So I didn't even worry about the exporting or saving and all that. All the stuff that I was wasting my time on the conversation over here, trying to figure out all the details, I didn't waste my time on any of that. I said, look, I just need to get to the first point. And the first point was logging it in the console. Now, if you don't know what logging it in the console is, basically it's a developer thing. And over here, if I just right click on this and I hit inspect element, over here, this left-hand side will pop up, or right-hand side, and I click on console. And then this tells me stuff in the console. Right now, it's logging the table right there. Let me refresh the page because I think I might have just clicked the button to make it do that. But look, there's nothing logged in this console right now. But when I click this run, it's logging the table in the console. It's logging the array of what's in the table. It's logging it in the console. And then it gave me the download as well, but it logged it in the console, right? And so when I say I want to log it in my console, all I'm trying to tell ChatGPT is to pull that data from this page. Like that was the first step. All I wanted to, because if I could get it to do that, if I knew if I could get it to pull the data, then I could get it to take it and put it wherever I want, right? So that's the key, guys. And I hope you guys are grasping the difference of what I'm saying here. Is the first time through, I tried to just nail down every single detail, try to walk step by step, knowing permissions, knowing this. No, I didn't need to know any of that. I'm going to be straight up with you. To this day, I haven't even read this code. I'm running this app. To this day, I haven't even read the code. Literally have not read any of the code that I posted. The only thing I did read is like the icon things. I had to adjust the icons. I literally have not read this code. I don't know what any of it does. I know what it does, but like that's how out of it I was. That's how out of it I was. And that's what I want you to understand is when you approach this, you have to pull yourself out of trying to solve it. You're getting ChatGPT to write. That's what you're doing. You're getting ChatGPT to write. And that's when I understood that, it got so much easier. Okay. So this is what I did. I said, write me all the files that I need. Remember the first one I says, what do I need? This one I said, just write me all the files. Write me all the files I need for a Chrome extension that logs all of the data of the table on a current page. This happens when the user clicks the extension icon and then a pop-up comes up and the user clicks run. And that starts the console log. Make me the complete Chrome extension code. Make sure to add commenting. Now, it didn't add the commenting. I'm kind of bummed about that because commenting would be right here. It'll tell you what each piece does. It didn't add any of the commenting. But that was the only thing that it didn't do. It worked right out the gate. Right. Well, actually, I take that back. The manifest version was wrong, but it worked right out the gate. Now, I knew a little bit here, just to tell you, I did know a little bit by the time I got to this point because I gave up already over here. So I knew that I needed these 4 different files, the manifest, the pop-up. I knew what the pop-up did. When you click this little HTML, this thing pops up, that's the pop-up, right? The pop-up JavaScript is what happens on the back end of that. When you click, like what's it for, right? And then the content JavaScript is the content of the. It's hard to explain. So the manifest file links it all together and says, hey, we're gonna this is a Google Chrome extension, and we're gonna well, basically that's it. Then the pop-up HTML is what's on this little page. The pop-up JavaScript is like what runs behind basically the purpose of the extension, and then the content is how that actually works all together. Now that's the simplified version. I'm not a developer. Like I said, I didn't really look at this, but the content, this is where it stores all the variables and pushes out, logs the table, sends the response and all of that. Like I said, I didn't even look at this. I wouldn't know what it does anyways. Like, I don't know what this these are variables, and these are this is stuff I would not. This is way beyond. Like, I might be able to do this. I might be able to see on a developer's forum to send the log and do that. I might be able to copy and paste that and then spend an hour trying to figure that piece out. But this stuff, no way. No way I would ever be able to code that on my own, right? But it did, right? And so it gave me the 4 files that I needed. It gave me the manifest, pop-up, and all those. And so what I did is I just opened up my little handy note thing here, and I copied and pasted each one of them in there, and one by one, and I named it what it was named here, right? I gave it the name, and you could copy the code here, but I gave it its name, and I had my little file folder here that I put my stuff on, and probably version 1 or something like that, and that was the first version, right? Very simple. It just logged it. It just logged everything in my console. Okay. And now I was like, yes, I got it. I got what I needed first. That's what I needed. I know it worked. And I was already excited. I was so excited. Now think about this, guys. Think about this. I had spent like 3, 4, 5 hours maybe trying to figure out this one. Look at how long this is. I mean, I really went back and forth, really debugged and everything, tried to figure it out. There might even have been another conversation where I tried to hack, take some conversations and split. I spent hours trying to figure it out, right? And in this one, I had it, and I never got it to actually do anything. And this one, I got it to work in my first conversation with it. It worked right out the gate. Now you can see, if you know ChatGPT, when I hover over this, you'll see that I had 6 other conversations with it. I was just testing different ways to get it right and to see what I liked best. And ultimately, I liked the first version. I liked the first 1 of 6. 1 of 6 is the best one, right? And so, and I felt like it was that way all the way through. Okay, so I did try other things out. I did edit it. I did regenerate responses, but ultimately what we have here, what we're walking through, is the best. And what I give you in the PDF that you guys can walk through on your own to follow through what I did, it is the best. It's the best. So follow that. Okay. But it worked. It works right out the gate. I mean, you see my conversation down here. Well, actually, it didn't. It says Manifest 2 version is deprecated. Support will be removed in 2023. I already knew that because I dealt with that over here. So I just told that right away. It fixed it, put 3 in there, had to change a few other things. This worked great. It logs the data as an array. Now log in console the full code of the table. So that's where I wanted it to do next. So remember, I show you over here. Now it has the code. Now, so it has the array down here. That's the first thing it did. And then now I had it add in the code part. Right, so now it pulls out the table itself, like the HTML, and then it says log that in the console. Perfect. So it works. Like, look, I'm just saying perfect. Like, I didn't even need to know what any of it did. Like, I had no conversation that I needed to have like I did over here. It was just like perfect. Like, perfect. Right? Like, see how simple it was, just taking a completely different approach to it. Instead of trying to solve the problem, I just let ChatGPT solve the problem. And I feel with code, it gets it right more often than just with anything else. Like, you could say, teach me about stoicism, or teach me about elephants, right? And it'll give you a ton of facts. And if you don't know about stoicism, or if you don't know about elephants, it's like, yes, this is great. But when you turn it in as your paper, your professor is going to be like, nope, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, because ChatGPT typically will confuse some things, right? Code, I hardly ever find issues like that. And that's why I love actually using ChatGPT so much. I talk about ChatGPT. I'm probably one of the greatest. I mean, I don't want to say the greatest spokesman, because there's a lot of people that have bigger audiences, but I speak about it more than anything. And I probably live in this more than anybody, right? I'm definitely one of the top 1% users. I'm confident of that. You can't, I'm awake all day and I'm using it all day. You can't really beat that, So, the thing is that code is the reason why I use it. It's what I love the most. Now, I have a lot of conversations over here that are not code conversations, but it's really the biggest value that I get out of it. At least that's how I feel, for my personality, for what my needs are, okay, as a business owner. So anyways, perfect. Now embed the table on the pop-up. So that was the next thing I wanted it to do. Was, remember over here, I wanted it to be on the pop-up when you click run. Boom, it's got the array, it's got the code, the table code up here, but in the pop-up right here, it also has the table. And then the reason why I tried that is because I never did this before, and so what I thought is that I could actually make the pop-up take the whole page. And so what I wanted to do was just end it there. Like, you could just copy and paste from that pop-up, make it scrollable, but then I realized, it only makes it this wide. That's not that good for me, okay? And so then what I did next is, embed the pop-up. This is what you'll do. They'll edit it. And then I added a new div, table container. It goes through all that. Like, what it tells me what it does. It tells me what everything does. It just didn't add the commenting. It's just telling me down here. It logs the console fine, but the pop-up gave the error, no table found. And then it solved that problem. I just said, hey, it's giving me this error. And it says, I apologize for the confusion. The issue is that the content script sends a response with a message property instead of a data property. So it knew, right? I take that perfect. It's like perfect. It worked, right? There might have been something else beforehand. I wanted to try to style it. Yeah, that didn't work. once I decided I couldn't style it, then I was like, perfect. Now make it an HTML file that they could download the table when run is clicked. Don't change anything else. So I wanted to keep it to where when they click it, it still logs in file. It still logs in the console. Still shows up here in the pop-up. But I also wanted to then download the HTML file, which then I hit run, and boom, it downloads it there. And so that's where that was perfect. I mean, like if I click on this, it's a perfect table. And I can just hit Control All, boom, copy it, and just use it however I want. All right, so by that point, I already had what I wanted, at least for my easiest need, which is to copy and paste, because for our Canva videos, that's what we're doing. We're copying and pasting. For most data, we're copying and pasting because we got to manipulate the data a little bit anyways. So I was okay with that. That totally fit my need. And it did it perfect. Now I can download as a CSV file instead of an HTML. And this is where I started to run into an issue. The emojis were broken. It was broken. What was happening was the emojis were showing up like this code. So like this was supposed to be, I don't know what that's supposed to be, but that's what it was showing up as. And so, excuse me. So, I needed to fix that. And I think I figured it out. I was going to go back and try it out today. And doing, instead of comma separated CSV, if I do the delineated tab CSV, I think that's going to solve that. I started thinking about other things that we didn't try. So, but ultimately I did get it to work. If you don't have any emojis, then it works perfectly. I mean, for most of what we were doing, we didn't have emojis anyways. I mean, as long as you didn't have emojis like I did in my daughter's chore chart, for the most part, we didn't have emojis in our data table. So it's not really going to matter. That would have never been an issue. So I still would have been fine with it as a CSV file. But ultimately, to be honest, I didn't even stop there because I didn't want to stop there. My end goal wasn't a CSV file. I would have been happy with the copy and paste in the HTML. That's all I needed. And it worked fine. The emoji showed up fine. I would have been happy there. But the CSV file was just a bypass because I wanted to get into table format, into data format, and a comma format, not into the HTML format. I wanted to get into the right format. So that's why I worked it that way for a little bit. And it didn't work. Still not working. What was I trying to do up here? Oh, getting the emojis. It still wasn't working with the emojis. It worked fine. I mean, it downloaded the CSV file, and then they said they tried a bunch of different things. There's a bunch of different things we tried, and it was still coming up with, it was changing it this way. We tried different encoders. We tried a bunch of different stuff, and ultimately we just couldn't give up. And then, we couldn't get it to work, and ultimately I just gave up right here. Right, so that's where I ended. And then I went back. And as far as like the Notion stuff, I went back and way up here on the emoji stuff, this is where I started talking. I just said, you know what, I gave up on the Notion. I didn't need that anyways. I tried it as an Excel file. I tried different things to get it into that spreadsheet file format, because that's ultimately, again, that's what I wanted, was spreadsheet file format. And I tried the Excel file for it. That didn't work. I was like, okay, maybe a PDF. There's something I could do with that. That didn't work. And I was like, okay, I just want to make it export to Notion. And it says, okay, this is what I need for you to do. And we just started working that way. And then I got it going, and I had to give up. I didn't quit. I didn't finish this yet. I have it going to where if I install this one, what will happen is I had to get my API doc and create the integration over on Notion. And for some reason, I couldn't get it to push over to Notion. I got to figure out why. I didn't have a chance to debug it last night. But I did get it to work. I mean, it got everywhere to where I got. I mean, what I ultimately needed was to create the Chrome extension, to create the table. I could download it. I could copy it here. I have exactly what I need. Now I just want to make it useful, and I want to make a useful app and make it a useful Chrome extension to where I could give out to people, could utilize this tool. Okay, so anyways, that is how I did it, and you could see it's not that hard. It was pretty simple, straightforward, and all I had to do was just create these files in here. The only thing that you don't see here is I had to create icons. I knew that already. You just want to create some icons, and I knew that from this first conversation I had over here. You had to create the icons. So I think you would have a little bit more of a conversation than I did here, because I already knew that I had to have certain things. So like when it made me this icon file, like I knew that I had to have an icon there, but you would have known that. What would have happened is, had you not known that, you wouldn't have had that file in that folder, right? You just wouldn't have known that. So what you would have done is tried to run this. You would have tried to load this extension by coming over here, load it, and pulling up that folder and just loading it in there. That's what you would have done. And what it would have done is it would have given you an error. It would have popped up and said, hey, we can't do this because you don't have an icon. Right, you're missing your icon folder or file or whatever, and you might have been confused, or you might have knew right away what that was. Either way, you could have copied that error, just copy the error, and take it back over to ChatGPT and said, this is what it's giving me. And they're like, oh, you need an icon. I assumed you had one in your icon folder. You need to make an icon and make it this big, blah, 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 blah. And you'd be like, oh, okay, I need to go make an image. All right. Boom. You would have made your PNG, dropped it in the file, and then you would have tried it again, and it would have worked, right? So, even if you don't know something, don't try to dial in like I did in this first conversation. Don't really try to, because I didn't know about the permissions. Don't make the mistake of having to know about that unless you need to know about it, right? So in other words, just follow the flow. Follow the flow of like, help me make it, and then go with the errors, because you see that's what I did over here when it had an error with the manifest 2. Now, I already knew that, but it gave me the error. I just copied and pasted the error that it gave me on the pop-up. I just copied it right here. This wasn't me saying this. This wasn't me. That's the error. That's the error that I copied, and I pasted it in here, and it says, you're right. And then, thanks for pointing that out, and then it fixed it for me, right? And, that's what you would do. You would get an error, you would copy it in here, and it would fix it for you, okay? So if you didn't know about the icons, or if there was something else you didn't know about, and I'm not telling you this for a Chrome extension, I'm telling you this for whatever you need to build. If you wanted to build a WordPress website, if you wanted to build an app for, I have no clue whatever it is your business. As a matter of fact, let's just do something real quick. I'm going to show you. This is just a kind of a bonus right here. Let's just do this. I want to create a Python script. I want to create, no, forget it. I don't even know that it's Python. That's me trying to do it again. I want to create an app thing, because I don't know what even that's what it's called, that when I click a button on my computer, it will open my my YouTube account, and I don't know what I'm trying to do. You have to open, maybe not open my YouTube account, maybe open Google and search for what's the weather in London. That's right. That's what we'll do. I want to create an app thingy that when I click a button on my computer, it will open Google and search for what's the weather in London. Google Chrome is installed on my computer. Now, just like I did the first time through, I told you, the only thing you want to take from this conversation over here is what do I need, right? So that's what I'm going to do here. What are the steps? And it might not even know that from here. So here are the steps to create an app that opens Google Chrome and searches for the weather in London when you click a button. Open your preferred code editor or text editor. Write HTML file to save it. Weather HTTP, so that's what we'll do. Inside the HTML, create a button element. Create a JavaScript. Here's an example of code, JavaScript code. Here, perfect. Great. Now put, great. Does this code all go inside of, and then I'm going to put this file that they told me. Oops. Yes, the HTML file. So all of that code is going to go in there. Okay. Give me the full code so I can copy and paste. Boom. Sure, here it is. Now watch this. Look guys, this is on the fly. I never would have done this before. Now it said it needs to go on the same page, but it actually is going to call this somewhere else. So what we need to do is, now I know a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this on the same desktop. I'm going to put new folder. We'll call it London weather, and boom. And then I'm just going to go right here. And then I'm going to take this, Control V, save as, and then I'm going to go to the desktop, London weather. I need to make this an HTML file, but what do I call it again? We'll call it this, copy all that, and then save it, boom, save, boom. Now that's done, right? Now open up this one again, and then I'm going to take this. Now it's got to be inside of a script tag, So let's go ahead and write those in there. But I'm just, look, if you don't know, if it doesn't work for whatever reason, does the JS need to be in script tags? Yes, you should. Here's an example. Boom. Right. So if you don't know, it's going to give you errors probably. And then, see, that's still there. Still the source. And let's make sure that the source is still the same. Cool. Everything's right. So yeah, we'll copy that. We'll put this into the JavaScript file. Then we're going to hit File, Save As. We'll do the same thing. Click All Items. And then we want to name this one. What do we want to name it? We want to name it weather app.js. Boom. Boom. Save. And save. Make sure you have both files in the same directory with the same file names, and then open the weather HTML. Okay, boom. So then what we do is, it should work. So what we're going to do, this is HTML, so let me click on it. Boom. Get London weather. Oh, it's not working. Why isn't it working? Let me go. So I'm going to open up I'm going to hit inspect. I'm going to go to console. Look, it gives me an error right here. So it's giving me this error. What you want to do is click on, just copy it, because I got something going on. Oh, I think what I did is I put that. That's what I did. I know what I did wrong. This is on me. Look, when I opened this up, remember I had, oh, maybe not. Let's see. And that's in weather app JS, unexpected token. Interesting. So let me check this again. Script. Maybe you guys see something that I'm missing. It looks like it should be right. So I'm just going to copy that. And I'm going to go ask over here, ChatGPT. Let me close out these other ones we were using. Yes, you need JavaScript. Let me say, it gave me this error. Oops. I'm sorry. Let me go back up here. Edit. Gave me this error. Boom. Save and submit. When there's a problem the way the code is being loaded in an HTML file, please make sure that the file path of JavaScript is correct. So, how should it look? They're both in the same directory. Let me make sure. Oops. I might have done something. Wait, I know what to do. So first I want to figure out where that error happened. Did it happen? Is it already here? Is the error already there? Yes, the error is already there. So it's not even, but it is in the JavaScript. So it must be something going on there in the HTML like it suggested. So I'm going to hit right click and I'm going to go open with, and I need to open it with the same notepad and see what's in here. HTML document. Let's see, weather button JS. Now, maybe I did something wrong here. So I'm going to copy this. Should be the same, but I'm just going to still check it and replace it. Save this, save. Maybe that fixed it, maybe it didn't. So we'll go here, we'll hit weather app, open it up, and we're going to click get London weather. Again, nothing happens. I'm going to hit inspect and console. I still get that same error. So there is, let's go back over here. Gave me this it says it's not being loaded correctly. Please make sure the file path for the JavaScript file is correct and that the file exists in the directory specified. You can also try the JavaScript directly in your web browser to make sure it's accessible. That's a good thing to do. So we could try the link that is in here, edit, open with, and I could copy this. I mean, not copy, but open, and then I could just take this like that. I know what's going on. I think it's not linked correctly. Oops, Control Z. I think it's not linked correctly because of the, yeah, it's not, there's no way that's going to work. I know what's going on. So what I need to do is I actually need to copy path, go back up here, right here, and just hit this. Now, I probably could have, now this is because it's on my computer, I probably could have done something like that. I'm not sure. But this, like deleting some of that, but I think this will work. If I just have direct link to that file. I need to get rid of these quotes. There was double ups on the quotes. So that should work. Let's try that out. I'm going to save. And then let's open up the weather app again. Let's close the one that's there. And then let's open it up again. Weather app. Boom. Get weather. And that's still not working. So I'm going to hit inspect, console, and it still has that same problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to tell ChatGPT what I have. I have a folder on my desktop named London weather, and inside are the two files. Okay, so it gave me different code. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to copy the HTML code, and I'm going to come back over here and edit, open, let me right click. Why is this not working? Open with, and then I'm going to just Control V. Now I got the new code in there. I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to open up this JavaScript one, and I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to copy the code, and I'm going to paste it in between the script tags. Boom, and then I'm going to hit close, save, and now it's done. Let's see if this is going to work. I'm going to hit this, open it up, and I'm going to click on the HTML file and get London weather, and it's still not working, but I'm going to close it out because I had that other window open. Let's just double check. London weather, boom, it's still not working. Let me click on this and inspect, console, file not found. Okay, so now it's saying the file's not found. So there's something else going on there that's giving it issues. I'm just going to go ahead and type that in and see what it says. It indicates that the web browser is not unable to find the file at the specified path. In this case, it looks like the web browser is unable to find the JavaScript file at the location HTML file. Please double check that the files, ensure that it matches the actual file JavaScript in the file. If you're still encountering issues, feel free to let me know. So let me just double check everything. I got London weather, I got the weather app, and I got the weather app. So I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to open with, I'm going to hit Notepad, and we got London weather source. So let me just get rid of everything right there and leave that dash in there. Let's see if that helps, or the / save. And then let's run this again and see if that helps. No, right click, inspect, console, error, file not found. So let's try it again. Let's right click, open with, Notepad, and then let's get rid of that. Now we close it, because now we're narrowing down what the issue could be. You know, if it works now, I mean, not works, but if it gives us that different error, then we know that the problem is in the JavaScript file. So now I click this, inspect, console. Now it has this error. So it's a different error that's happening in the JavaScript file. So there's something with that JavaScript file that's given us an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete it. Then I'm going to right click, new. No, I'm not going to do that. Actually, I'm going to go click over here, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to close this all out, and I'm going to just copy the JavaScript file, and I am going to just paste it in there. And I'm not even going to go with the script tags on this. I'm just going to close it and hit save and save as, or all files. And then I want to name this one. What do we want to name it again? Weatherapp.js. So we need to make sure that we get that correct. Weatherapp.js. Copy that, and then come over here, save it. Boom, save. And now let's try this again. Let's click on this, click on this, boom, nothing, inspect. Now I didn't really expect it to because I didn't have the JavaScript tags in there. And look, it's telling me, look, there's something going on. It's cannot read properties, null. Add event list. Oh wait, it actually is reading it, and the error is this. It's giving me the error. So if I come back over here, boom. Now I can come back over here. Now I got something to work with. Boom. That's the error that it's giving me now. Wait, did that work? Specify. I don't think I did it right. I didn't paste it right. Nope. Okay, so copy it again. Copy the whole error. Boom. And then boom, boom. We're getting further. We got somewhere. Because we got the error. We got a different error, right? So it means that the document element ID method is not returning a valid element. Please double check the ID of the button element in your HTML code to ensure that it matches the ID specified in the JavaScript code. Well, you gave me the code. Copy. Boom. Wait, how is this? I want to see what this looked like. This and this. So this is button ID, weather button, get element by ID, weather button. Oh, but it's getting it. Okay, so now let me go. We got that one open, and then I'm gonna right click on this one again. Open with Notepad, get element by ID, button, weather button. So is that the same name? Oops. Weather button, ID, button, get element by ID, constructor button, get element by. Yeah, it is. It's all named the same. So that's that, and that's the HTML, and this is the JavaScript. Let's just paste it in there. It looks like your code is correct, so the issue might be related to the file path to the JavaScript file. The path you provided is relative to your desktop, so your desktop has a relative different name, file, blah, 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 blah. Make sure that the file path, weather app, weather button, maybe the dot, maybe something like that. Okay, so let's try that. So we got that. That's correct there. Close that out. But let's open up our HTML. Open with Notepad, and let's change out that right there. Hit save, save. And let's do this JavaScript one down here as well. So I got to, oops, not open it up. Go over here and, wait, the file path located in the subdirect scripts within it should look like this. Okay, that makes sense. So now let's do this. New folder, and then scripts, and then take that, put that in there, boom. Now, edit, open with, Notepad. Now what I need to do is come back over here, over here, and see now I got that file directory. And that might be the issue, is because it's not reading it correctly. If that's, maybe I don't know JavaScript. Again, I'm a hacker. I don't know this stuff. So it makes sense that could be the issue. Okay, so let's try it again. Let's see if that fixed it. So let's come over here to weather app, boom, click it. Go to London weather. No, that's still not finding it, but I bet it's still going to give you the same error though, right? It's still finding it. It's the same error, but it's the same error. It's not solving that problem. Still same error. Boom, boom. It looks like the button variable is still null, which means the document method is not finding. To fix the issue, you can wrap the JavaScript code in that. So let's try that. Reload the HTML page. So I'm going to close this out and then go over here, update the JavaScript code, and now it's updated in this DOM listener thing, whatever the heck that is. Have no clue. Don't need to know. I'm not even going to ask because I don't want to know. I don't want to get more confused. So let me go back over here. Weather app. Click. Boom. Come on, guys. Yes, we did it. We got the weather in London. You guys, look. We debugged this. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue what I was doing. I've never done that. I've never made a desktop app like that before, like that does something like that. It's pretty damn cool, right? I just did that. You guys watched me do that. We solved it. I mean, we ran into some issues, but nothing that we couldn't work through, right? And again, I had to step out, right? You noticed it a couple times. I'm like, oh, I don't want to know nothing about that. Like, let's just ask ChatGPT. Let's just see if it works, right? And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys is like remove yourself out of the app building, have ChatGPT build it for you, and it's going to go smooth, right? This was awesome. I'm really happy about what we built here. This is pretty cool. All right. So if you guys enjoyed this as well, please give me a subscribe, give me a like, give me a comment. Tell me the apps that you're going to build. Tell me like if your mind is blown, drop some emojis, do whatever you got to do just to let me know that you like this and you want me to keep dropping more free content like this because I enjoy it, but I want to make sure that you're enjoying it as well. So let me know so that I know that I'm not wasting my time. All right. Check you guys out on my next training. All right.